Hello world, this is Shruti Pandey, and today I have with me George Lewis, who is an expert on DevOps. And thank you so much, George, for giving me your time.
No, thank you very much, Shruti. I really appreciate this time with you and your community. So I'm very happy to be here and have this conversation.
Thank you. So, if I were to give you the format of the podcast, I go about asking three questions. So, shall we begin with the three questions that I have with you? And since I mentioned earlier that you're the expert in DevOps, and some of the questions may look easy.
Thank you for that.
No, you are right. I looked up your profile. I researched a couple of things to create the questions, and some of the things might look simple to you, but I'll tell you in all honesty, because back in 2017, I was working with a big bank, and the concept of DevOps was just introduced, right? And we were not aware fully of what DevOps is. And
Yeah.
I know this because I was a part of a skit. We did everything and anything to make it understandable to people of the organization. So it might look, some of them might look simple questions to you, but I'm giving a
Sure.
benefit of doubt for the audience. So maybe if you can help us. So my first question for you is, what is DevOps?
Okay, that is a good question actually. And yeah, I think before answering your question, I think about Agile, Kanban, Lean, DevOps, and all the stuff that we have in the market, right, to improve our business and so forth. I
Right.
think they are pretty similar between them, right? So I think that is why the confusing in some scenarios, right? So basically, it's something normal, right? That you can, but maybe there are some words that you can understand better than others, right? But I think it's quite normal if you need to clarify some topics, right? I think it's normal. Okay, about DevOps, right? For me, and regarding what I practice in my business with my clients and my teams, DevOps has two parts, right? One is the mindset, the culture, right? It's about the way that I work, right? My values, my principles. I think that is one. And basically, DevOps shares a lot of ideas with Lean, right? Which is thinking on a flow, thinking on remove the waste, right? Improve the process. That is part of the mindset, the principles. And the other part is the technical part, right? Which is basically the engineering part. So to sum up, I think DevOps is a set of practices and also mindset, which allows you to focus on flow, deliver your products faster with quality, with security and scalability and reliability to your customers, while you are learning and get feedback to improve. So I think that is DevOps, and the final outcome is improve your business and make your team happier. I think that is what I think about DevOps, right? It's about business, about your people as well.
Right. Right. So now that you've set the rules or given an introduction to DevOps to all of us, the classic roles really in the IT software services or industry is really the developer or maybe tester and project manager, product manager. So if someone wants to transition into DevOps role, how can one really do that?
That is also a good question, Shruti. Thank you. In the DevOps community, and actually in the Agile community, there is a kind of conversation about the DevOps role, right? Because some people say that there is not a role of DevOps, right? Because I am not a DevOps engineer or something like that. Of course, in the market, we have that, right? We have that, a lot of job offers about it. I think the transition, if you imagine, right? If you are a developer that is working a kind of Java project or something like that, and your company or your project is going to adapt DevOps practices, I think the transition, the first approach that I can share with you is you need to move from a kind of specific knowledge to see the entire value stream. I think that is something that's really important, right? When you are a developer or you are a tester or you have a specific role, you're focused on some specific part of the value stream, right? But for DevOps, you need to see the entire picture. First one, I think that is system thinking, right? That is one. The other one is about experimentation. I think that is the key word, right? Because with DevOps, you are going to get a lot of information about new techniques, continuous deployment, continuous integration, continuous security, continuous monitoring, continuous testing, a lot of things, right? A lot of continuous stuff, cloud, business, and so forth. Right. So you need to be aware that if you want to move to a DevOps transformation, if you want to consider yourself as a kind of DevOps enabler for your business, right, you need to get a lot of experimentation, try new tools, try new ways to automate things, remove waste, and so forth. So that is my advice, right? It's not easy, of course, but the thing is funny. And it's very nice, learning new stuff.
Yeah, I'm not sure, but maybe for somebody it can get a little overwhelming, right? That they need to understand the entire picture of what is going on and understand. So it doesn't really sound like an easy thing, like it's set as a rule. And I think like you rightly also mentioned that nobody actually specifies for DevOps as a role, right? So that is one important thing. And I think you were again right in the first part when you mentioned about the mindset. So I think there's so much about mindset, then about your skills yourself, so that you get understanding of everything to facilitate DevOps. Makes sense. My third question for you is, suppose I am already a DevOps. I don't know, maybe some years experience or expert, or just starting out in my DevOps role. So for a fellow DevOps, what advice would you have, given the fact of, this versatile nature of the DevOps role? What advice would you give to them?
Okay, I like the questions actually. Something that I've learned in my experience working with different companies in the DevOps transformation, right? And that DevOps is very useful. It's a very it's very powerful if you want to change your business and you want to improve your business. But you need to combine DevOps with other things, right? To do it better. For example, in my experience, I always combine DevOps, for example, with gamification, right? Because gamification is a good way to change behavior and make easier to people to adopt new practices, right? While they have fun, right? So that is quite important. In my experience, for example, that is something that we did before when we had a challenge to transform the software delivery lifecycle in our companies to adopt DevOps, which demands a lot of practices. We use gamification, right? Kind of tournaments, competitions, so people can try new stuff, they can develop new stuff and have fun, right? While they are learning. So I think gamification is something that I can recommend you if you are a DevOps engineer or a DevOps leader or something like that. I think that is one. And also, please don't forget about Agile, right? Unfortunately, something that I noticed in the hardcore developers is that they think that DevOps is good, is better because it's something related to engineering thing, which is great. Right. But what about your part? What about the ways of working? What about team collaboration? What about thinking on shorter releases? What about the remove the waste, in the system? What about the retrospective? Agile, right? I think Agile has that. So I think you need to, besides DevOps, of course, one of the pillars of DevOps is Agile, of course. I think you don't need to forget about Agile, right? If you need to practice Agile, you can use whatever framework that you want to, right? Actually, the framework is not the problem, but I think you need to apply the ways of working of Agile, the mindset of Agile in your DevOps adoption as well. So I think that is my other advice.
So since you've been mentioning Agile a lot of time and it's written in your background as well, I feel very compelled to ask, is DevOps and Agile like always going hand in hand? Like, is it important to follow Agile to be a DevOps? Or
yeah, absolutely. No, yeah, absolutely. I think in my when I talk with my clients, I always tell them the same, right? If you want to improve your business,
sure.
In my experience, I recommend you to do a DevOps transformation, at the same time do a Agile transformation, I think those are kind of they stick together, right? In my experience, if you only choose one, most probably you are not going to be success. You need to pick both.
I have actually exhausted my questions, but I feel like really asking you one bonus or extra thing, and I don't want to put you on spot with the extra thing, but I genuinely
No,
like understanding how did you get into DevOps and how was your journey like, if that's okay to share with us.
yeah, absolutely. I was okay. Yeah, and actually, I really enjoy to share this because I think it was one of the best working experiences in my life. Some time ago, some years ago, I was working at Verizon, which is a company from US, a big company. So at that time, when I was working at Verizon, I was working as a queue manager, as a test manager. Sure. I was working with a team of Peru and team of India, so it was great. And suddenly, Verizon decided to transform the business. and the strategy decided to change the business, adopt DevOps, adopt Agile, and so forth. So I was part of that. I had a chance to work with different leaders and managers who were in charge of the transformation. So I worked very close with them, and I learned a lot from them. I had awesome coaches, awesome leaders in Verizon at the time. So in my case, my background at that time was development and also testing. But I like experimentation. So I'm in my team. I try to apply Agile, Kanban, Scrum, Value Stream, OKR, and so forth. Yeah. So in my case, it was kind of simple to me, right, to try to adapt adapt the new stuff, DevOps and so forth. So again, if you want to, in my experience, something that really helped me was experimentation, right? You need to try new stuff. And it's quite important, right? Failure is a way to be success. It's not something bad. It's a way to be success.
Yeah, at least you're trying, right? I mean, the fact that you're failing or succeeding, it's basically that you're trying. And you remind me of my journey, right? Because when all of this T-shaped developer, full stack developer, DevOps, Agile, Kanban, everything was coming, we all were just trying to experiment, see how this works for all of us, right? So if we weren't open to that experimentation and taking that hit, good or bad, we wouldn't have succeeded or failed, whatever that might be really. So this makes sense. This was such a candid conversation and you had such crisp answers. And I actually want to thank you for being so honest with us. Do you have any parting thoughts that you may want to share with the audience before we wrap this up?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, again, thank you very much for the invitation. I'm really happy to be here. I really enjoy what we are doing. I think it's a good contribution, to the community. So thank you very much for that, for your effort, because this is work, So thank you for that. And I think my final message for everybody who is watching this video, right, is please try to share and help more, right? I think that is quite important for the community, right? You need to share what you are doing, your experiences, your failures, your good things, your bad things. I think that is quite important because I'm pretty sure that maybe if you share what you are doing, maybe a guy in India or a guy in London or a guy in Netherlands can see what you are doing and learn from you, and vice versa, right? So I strongly believe in sharing. So please share more and help more.
Maybe that's what is similar between us, and that's the reason why we did this today. But again, very simply put, but so important. Most people don't understand the essence of sharing, and especially sharing the knowledge. This makes a lot of sense to me, and I'm pretty sure, and I hope this would make a lot of sense to the people who would be listening to this. So thank you so much, George, for giving me your time today. Thank you so much.
Thank you.